everybody, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. So thank you all for sending in your questions. And also thanks for adding me on Snapchat. Someone else just added me, thank you. My email is dan at theclinicaltrialsguru.com. I'll keep you anonymous. If you're new, welcome. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to the blog. Lots of giveaways, lots of goodies, lots of prizes. And keep your questions coming. And today's video is not a question I got, although I may have received similar questions in the past. And I've done content on this before, but never one where I'm just going to be solely focusing on this topic. And it's when it's okay to say no to a study. So as a research site owner, as someone who does business development, as someone whose job it is in this current market where study supply is like really low and the demand for research sites is really low, but sites, because of this low supply, are all competing to get whatever studies are out there, why it still makes sense, even in this environment, to say no to a clinical trial. So we signed a CDA a couple months back about a study. I don't want to give details, obviously. They came in, we talked. The study seems easy from the synopsis, but when the monitor actually discussed what type of study it is, first of all, it was a post-marketing study, and they insisted that a lot of the procedures be done off-site. So you need the patient's caregiver or nurse to do these certain procedures not at your site. They would not allow the procedures to happen at your site. Plus, we didn't even get into the budget yet, but the monitor was hinting that it's not going to be a very well-paying study or a very lucrative study, which is fine. I would take that study if it were easy to do and easy to implement and easy to execute the protocol, but it doesn't sound like it is. It sounds like it's a nightmare, a potential nightmare. And just remember, when you take on these studies, okay, as soon as you get that site initiation visit, even if you don't enroll a patient, let's say the study goes on for a year or two, they're not going to close you out sooner. You can ask for it, but most of the time, they're not going to close you out sooner. And they're going to have IRB stuff you're going to need to be submitting constantly, filing safety reports, and you haven't even enrolled any patient. Okay, you're still going to have regulatory stuff to file and to maintain. And if you do screen a patient, then you have queries that could spring up like a year or two later. So it's not always worthwhile to do a study. I know we're all desperately seeking new studies right now. Sometimes it's okay to say no. Okay, this is very difficult for entrepreneurs and business people to understand. I used to be someone who just said yes to everything. Any customer, any client, whatever you want, I can make it happen. Well, I learned the hard way several times that sometimes saying no is better and the opportunity cost is a lot higher. I could have been spending my time doing something else rather than spending it on this study, which I should have never said yes to. So, and by the way, this applies to any industry, okay? Real estate, I'm in the real estate industry also. This applies there. You can be spending hours, months, weeks, years with a client who says they want to buy a house, and then after all that time they say, hey, you know what, I actually want to lease. So you got to figure out a way to make these decisions in real time. That's part of the challenge. Make these decisions ahead of time to where you can kind of evaluate kind of on the spot whether you think this is a good idea and something you should say yes to, or something you should say no to, or something you should say, let me think about. And actually that's what happened yesterday. We told the sponsor, let me think about it, but after talking internally amongst ourselves, we're going to tell the sponsor, no, we don't want it. By the way, this is true of my consulting business as well. I have had clients in the past who have paid late or not paid at all. You know who you are, okay? Wink, wink. I should have said no to those clients. And instead, I said yes. So this is something I'm still learning every day, but it definitely applies to clinical research. It's okay to say no, okay? We're allowed to say no. Say no. If it doesn't make sense, don't do it, right? Thanks for watching. This is Dan from theclinicaltrialsguru.com, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.